From the High 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me on this early morning. This commentary is pertaining to the missing Cal City Boys. The first source is by KGET.com, and this is an older article from July 7th. BPD Chief Greg Terry discusses case of missing West Boys, Department's $133 million budget. Bakersfield Police Chief Greg Terry joined 17 News at sunrise today to discuss the department's progress with the case of missing California City boys Orson and Orrin West. Terry emphasized that the department is actively investigating the disappearance and that it is not a cold case as it is approaching 200 days since the boys have been missing. BPD took over the case from Cal City. Excuse me. Well, one second. Well, somehow this doesn't want to read. Too much. Took over the case from the Cal City Police Department earlier this year. Terry also discussed the recent city budget that was passed last month and the $133 million that is being set aside for the police department, as well as some of the concerns raised by residents about the funding. And that is the said information. It's a short article. So basically, it's the issue of funding. This was uploaded July 7th, and I guess they were having a meeting pertaining to the funding for the police department, and it was said that a budget had been passed of $133 million that is being set aside for the police department. And obviously the residents had some concern about the funding. KGET is the source. That is my first set of information. The next source is KGET as well, and this is just recently uploaded. Birthday awareness plan for missing Cal City boy. Making sure their case is not forgotten. An upcoming birthday event for a missing Kern County child and his brother still accepting reservations. Orrin West, whose birth name was Sincere before his adoption, has been missing since December, along with his little brother Orson Classic. There has been no major update on their whereabouts beside the main investigation shifting from California City to Bakersfield. Orrin is going to be turning 5 years old in August. A celebration organized by his biological family and their supporters is set for August 8th at Skateland on Ming Avenue. Online raffles have also helped them fund giveaway bags for children who attend the party. Well-wishers can also sign a digital birthday card. WhereAreTheBoys.com. KGET is the source for that said information. Thank you all for joining me. The next information is by KGET as well. California City boys Orson and Orrin West remain missing 7 months later. It's been exactly 7 months since two young boys from California City were reported missing. The search for them continues. The two boys, Orson and Orrin West, were reported missing December 21st, 2020, 212 days ago, and police have yet to find them. Tonight, the family gathered outside of the Bakersfield Police Department on Truxtun Avenue to host a prayer vigil for the boys. Rosanna Wills, biological cousin of Orson and Orrin West, said she just wants to keep their name and story alive and let the community know we are still looking for them. Tonight, the family gathered outside of the Bakersfield Police Department. Excuse me. I said I read this already. Hold on. Let me jump up. This article keeps jumping out of sequence for some reason. Friend of the family, Keisha Stevenson, said that over the 7 months the boys have been missing, there has been little to no updates in the case on the case. She continues she continued, somebody knows something. We want answers. Bakersfield police are in charge of the investigation. Wills asks the community, share the flyer if you know something, say something, and continue to pray for the boys. We have to continue to pray because prayer is powerful. Anyone with information on the boys or their disappearances asked to call the current secret witness hotline at 661 322 4040. The reward for information leading to the boys' whereabouts is set at $125,000. That is by KGET as well. So one of the children has an upcoming birthday in the month of August. I'm trying to pull it up. It keeps jumping off. Sorry about that, you guys. It's very, very, very tragic situation. So 7 months has passed, and no sign of the children, no information to the children, their whereabouts. I don't know what to say. What can you say? Well, this is another tragedy. 2 African American boys adopted out of foster care. A version was given to the public about them being in the backyard. As most of you know, the father alleges he went inside, came back out, and the children gone. I'm going to read you something from Facebook. Yes, good old Facebook. This is from the True Crime Sisters page. If you'd like to patronize their page, please check them out. They have a lot of content on here about missing children, abused children, said information. I'm going to read you something that's on the True Crime Sisters Facebook page. This was uploaded 18 hours ago. Orrin Sincere and Orson Classic West were reported missing by their adoptive parents on December 21st, 2020 under very suspicious circumstances. The adoptive parents either didn't have or refused to share recent photos. The most recent photos the public has seen were taken from their Adoptive Uncle's 2019 Facebook post. Why no recent photos? Do they want them found? Today marks 214 days without any answers or justice. These precious boys deserve the best. They deserve justice. The public wants answers. Reward $125,000. Please, we beg and we plead. If you know something, say something. Help us find and get these precious boys justice. $125,000 reward pertaining to the disappearance of Orrin and Orson West. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining me. Let me say this. The fact that in this commentary that it mentions the uncle having said photos of the children and the parents didn't have photos of the children or didn't give photos to authorities tells you everything you need to know. This is why I always say to you guys is that everything you need to know is at the beginning of the story. You don't need any other source, Facebook, Pookie Ray Ray. You don't need any of that. That was said in the beginning, that the photos came from his page. I remember that clearly. And I found it odd when I first heard that. And I wanted to tell myself, then, come on now, you got to be kidding me. They don't have any photos of the children. These photos came from the uncle. So who got them? Law enforcement got them from the uncle. And I always wondered how that came about. Was it just gossip, rumors, that the uncle was the one that provided the photos of the children? What the hell are we talking about? How in the hell can you have children and you don't have any photos of them? You don't have any photos on your phone. So now here we are, 7 months in. This is on the True Crime Sisters page. That tells you everything you need to know. You really don't have to know anything else. If the parents didn't have any photos of the children, if they couldn't provide any photos of the children on that said day in 2020 to law officials, that tells you everything you need to know. That they never cared, that they got rid of those children. Now, what they did to those children, I do not know. But the fact that you don't have any photos in your phone, personal photos, that law enforcement had to go get pictures off someone's Facebook page that lives halfway across the country. You're in California, he's in Washington, D.C. That tells you everything you need to know. They got rid of those kids. You can make up all the sideshow stories, versions, hypotheses, Illuminati, crazy things you want to come up with, blaming this person, DHS. That has nothing to do with the fact that these two individuals didn't even have photos of the children. And that leads me to conclude that you got rid of those boys. And you also got rid of their photos. Because why would I keep the photos of something that I wanted to discard? That I discarded. So I have no need to keep your photos. I'm done with you. It's over with. I'm done. And to this day, 7 months later, there have been no photos uploaded to social media, the news, pertaining to these missing children. So the proof is in the pudding. They had no photos to give because there is no way law enforcement would not show the public photos of the kids. That defeats the purpose of telling us that they're missing if they're not going to give us photos of what the children look like. And you know this. It's nothing to even argue about. It's common sense. Why would law enforcement hold out on giving us photos of the children? Well, they can't give us what they don't have. And the parents can't give us what they didn't have, which were photos of their own damn kids. Which leads me to believe the children had been gone a long time. And when Cal City handed the baton over to Bakersfield Police Department pertaining to the children, the investigation, somewhere down the line, we got information from the chief of Bakersfield asking the general public if you had seen the children in the previous year to contact law officials. He told us everything we needed to know, that these children had been missing for possibly a whole damn year. Why would I think otherwise? No photos. Now you're talking about 1 year. If anyone has seen the children, he didn't say 2 months, 5 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week, 3 months. He said a year. So why would I not think that's what he meant? That possibly the children had not been seen by outside sources in 1 year. Because what did I tell you? They check the phones. They're checking medical records, hospital visits, any type of aid they're getting from the state. They're looking at all that. Your personal records as far as your banking, bank statements, and that's what came to fruition. It's the 1 year. 9 times out of 10, Jacqueline and Giselle West had not taken the children to the doctor. They hadn't taken them anywhere. And that's why the chief said that. And the fact, as I said, once again, no new photos ever brought to light pertaining to the children tells you everything you need to know. They got rid of those children. What they did with those children, I do not know, but I don't even believe that they are alive. Because only a crazy person would be holding on to children knowing they were reported missing. Same with Summer Wells. What purpose would you have to hold a child in your custody and they have been reported missing? Best thing to do is turn them over, because it would not look good in your favor to be holding a child that has been currently put on an Amber Alert. How are you going to explain that? You see, people who care for their children will show you that they care for their children. And one way of showing you care for your missing child is to rally for your missing child and to keep their name in the public's eye. Such as talking to the news, giving updates, giving commentary as best that you can. And Jacqueline and Trezell West have not rallied for these boys. They have hid with their tail between their legs as cowards, which leads me to believe they never cared for the children, that the children was just monetary gain. And that has been proven with many foster care children in America. People take them in just to get the check. It is not love, it is not concern, it is for the money. And I do believe these two harmed the children. And whether it was one or the other, it doesn't really matter to me. They're both complicit. They're both holding the lie and they're both carrying the lie. So they're both guilty in my eye. My eyes. Never speaking to the news. I miss my kids. I want my kids back. Do you have my kids? Whoever has my kids, bring them here. Bring them home. We miss them. They have other brothers, siblings. That's what you say when you have missing children. You plead to the abductors to bring your children back safely to you. And the fact that these two never spoke publicly about the kids except for one time, which was the initial interview outside their home, tells me everything I need to know. See, I don't need Facebook. I don't need TikTok. I don't even need YouTube. I go with common sense. Common sense says you will rally for your children. You will speak for your children. To the news. I want my child back. I want my children back. I miss my children. I love my children. Present tense. They have brothers, sisters, cousins, family. And the fact that these people never rallied for their children, never spoke again to the public, made all these wild-ass excuses why they couldn't do this and that, making up all this junk about being threatened and this and that had nothing to do with rallying for your child. It doesn't matter if we liked you, didn't like you. It doesn't matter if people were threatening you. And it's not to say you shouldn't have feared for your safety, because there are some cuckoo people out here. But you put this out into the element that you didn't care for your children, so naturally some unstable people would follow suit to threaten you. And by no means is it right, but it is what it is. You never showed that you cared for your children, Jacqueline and Trezell. I don't believe your family, immediate family, cared either. Smart-ass comments, asking people to go to a pay site to read commentary pertaining to your children. What kind of mess is that? It's disrespectful to those children to ask the general public to pay to hear commentary pertaining to the children. Everything that was said on the median site could have been said to the news. Medium, excuse me. Why should I pay to hear you and your brother, mother, whomever ramble on about nothing? I'm not going to pay you a damn dime. You cared about your children. You would have talked to the news, local radio stations, and you would have stayed afloat 7 months in. But you have not. So that tells me everything I need to know. You never cared for those children, and 9 times out of 10 you harm those kids. And that is the very reason why we can't find those kids. We don't know where those kids are, because you made sure to get rid of them properly. And we are now at the end of July almost, and there has been no word to where those children are, where they can be found or located. And you all are sitting idly by, not saying a damn thing about those boys. You miss them. You need them. Their brothers miss them. Grandmama, granddaddy miss them. Nothing. And yet you want to hold court to say you've been threatened. Well, we haven't heard anything about threats because we don't even know where the hell you are. Haven't heard from you that you're either alive or dead. It was a circus act months ago pertaining to those children. People being threatened who were just regular citizens that didn't have a dog in the race. All type of shenanigans came along with talking about those missing kids, which led me, to see how cruel the world is and how sick people are who really don't care about the kids. Clout chasing at best, indeed. People wanting to be seen at the expense of a missing children. You see, the scary part is you all actually have biological children. And I haven't heard that you even got those kids back. And I pray to God that you don't ever get them back. Because I believe you know where these 2 boys are. And until then, hell no, you don't need your kids back unless you tell us where these 2 boys are. And when you do, if you even decide to act like you're human and tell the truth about these 2 boys, you still don't deserve your other kids. Because I believe you 2 are diabolical. And you harm those boys. That's why we don't know where they are. They've been long gone. COVID was the perfect season to get rid of them. And the fact that you have never brought forth a new picture, old picture, plural, of the boys tells me everything I need to know. You never cared for them. You used the system. You used those kids. You probably mistreated those children. And you knocked those babies off. And now you don't even have your own damn biological children, plus the other 2 that you took into your care. And frankly, you don't deserve neither child. And I don't feel sorry for you. Because it is July. And you have said nothing about these kids. You don't walk the streets. You don't rally for them. You don't speak of them. It's as if they never existed. And in your eyes, they don't exist. And you've proven that. And I told people that in the beginning. You don't get a new photo of these children. That's all you need to know. You don't have to piece anything together. You don't have to run to Facebook. The photos will tell you everything you need to know. And the fact that they don't have valid photos of the children tells you they've got rid of the children. and others are complicit. Because you see, you had to have lied about where the children were to your family. Stay woke. And what lie did you tell them? What lie did you tell your mother and father, your brother, where the children were? I'll wait. And yet they sit up here running to ABC News as if they cared about those kids, crying and moaning, they being this and that and mistreated. A great performance by all parties involved. I believe the grandparents know that the children are long gone, and at this point, the uncle, Mr. Jamal, I believe you're complicit as well, because you can't tell me at this point, 7 months in, you don't suspect foul play on behalf of your brother and sister-in-law. And the fact that they're not rallying or speaking about the children publicly tells you everything you need to know. And you can't tell me because you're the brother, you don't see there's something wrong with these two, and that they are complicit, and that they are liars. And they know fully well where those children can be found. Just call a spade a spade. They harmed those kids. And you all are sitting idly by, aiding them. So to me, you're just as guilty. And I don't feel anything for none of you. You see, it's easy to judge indeed, because we didn't know anything in the beginning. But see, I always tell people, time will reveal what is actually the truth as well. And the fact that we are 7 months in, and you all don't even speak of the children, you have not brought us any new photos of the children, tells me you never cared for the children, and you deliberately got those children gone. And that is why we don't have any inkling to where they are. So you sidekicks, you're just as guilty. Because I got a feeling you were gave some far-fetched ass ghetto ratchet story to where the children were. And you rode the ride and never called law enforcement or CPS to say something's fishy going on and these people need to be investigated because they're missing two small boys. If anybody has any information pertaining to the missing Cal City boys, please call your local authorities and give them the said information. Credible, viable information. My prayers are with them. And I fear the worst due to the fact it's been several months in and they have not been located. Where are the boys? Somebody knows where they are. Two somebodies know where they are. It's only a matter of time of when they're going to tell us where the boys are. And it's sad that there are no arrests, no nothing pertaining to the disappearance of the Cal City boys. You never cared for them, Jacqueline Trezell. And that's obvious now. And we don't have to question it anymore. You never cared for those two babies. And they never had a chance with you or the biological mother and parents. They never had a chance. And that's the sad part of the story. They never had a chance. Prayers for the Cal City boys. If you'd like to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you for joining me. Prayers for Summer Wells. Prayers for all missing children, adults. 2 adults missing out of East Tennessee. Chadwick Carr, 32, African American male, missing from the Foundation Halfway House. And Deshina Kyle, 27 years old, missing from Knoxville, Tennessee. There's been no information pertaining to the whereabouts of these 2 individuals. But somebody knows something, because they always do. It's just a matter of who's going to tell. Thank you all for joining me. God bless all of you. I'll be back on later with more lives pertaining to the disappearance of Summer Wells. Stay safe, and this is Everyday Shenanigans.